Hello there, and welcome to Recon Pain Gaming. Today we are bringing back the mailbag. Basically, we get messaged all the time through either Facebook Messenger or comments on our posts or questions in the comments. So we're gonna start and bring back the mailbag to where you guys can ask us anything, and then we can have a nice little session to where we answer most of those questions. Today we're just going to start with like some really common basic questions that not only we've received but also that I've seen posted on Reddit, Facebook, almost everywhere. So without further ado, let's go with the first question. And this one, I see it everywhere. Let's start with what it normally starts with is, I haven't played X-Wing in X amount of years. I'm just starting to get back into it. What do I do? How do I update my stuff? There's a 2.0. I've heard rumors of a 2.5. What am I supposed to do here? So it's entirely up to you. You can go check out our other videos on how to upgrade to 2.0 and 2.5. But we're going to cover that question now real quick because it is a very common one. So you basically start out with a 2.0 core set. You buy that. That's going to get you all the materials you need to bring you up into 2.0 and almost 2.5. And then this is where it might get a little hard. I'm going to cover a lot of different ways that people have gotten back into the game and also have gotten into the game to where they'll buy a lot on eBay or Facebook of first edition cards and ships. And they go, I have some stuff. It's first and second edition. What do I do? The first thing you can do is buy a conversion kit for whatever faction that you own. There are multiple conversion kits for each faction. So if you have Rebels, there's a Rebel conversion kit. It's going to give you a bunch of cardboard and cards with pilots, some minor upgrades or some starting upgrades, and it will get your list up into second edition. If you're just looking to stay into first edition, then you're going to have to buy first edition packs. They're still out there. You can still buy as much as you want. For 2.5, all you need is just the objective tokens and go read the rules on atomicmassgames.com. Super simple and easy. You can even print out the objectives and cut them out and use those for the time being if you were looking to that. If you're just looking to stick with 2.0, there's a huge community for that as well. It's the 2.0 Legacy group. You can go to them. They update all the points. They have their own list builder in Yasby and stuff like that, so you can easily stay with second edition. But I would recommend conversion kits. It's got a lot of stuff in it. They Fantasy Flight Games, before AMG took it over, created those for the players who already had their collection. So if you already had all the ships, you just needed to buy these conversion kits to update your cardboard. And it included more lines on the little templates for your ships. It gave you new rulers with lines on them, so when you barrel rolled, you could line up on the midline because barrel rolling worked differently. And it also came with other components you needed to get into second edition. So we got the core set for second edition that you need to buy. Then you can buy conversion kits if you have a large collection of ships, but you don't have the pilots or templates for them. So that's a great way to bust into the game for second edition. If you already have second edition stuff and you're looking to expand or buy more stuff, just buy the actual ships in the boxes. You don't really have to buy conversion kits. The conversion kits do come with a lot of good materials and stuff like that, but when you buy the ships in their own specific box, it comes with all the pilots that you need and so on and so forth. So that's like one of the most common questions I see all the time. And I think it's great because that means there are people that are dusting off their collection and coming back, or somebody's just buying the game. They have some components and they need to know how to jump into it and get started. So that is basically the gist of it. The conversion kits are really cheap. I think you can get them anywhere from $15 to $20. It comes with a lot of cardboard and all that. You don't necessarily need them, like I said. And I think that's about going to cover it. I mean, I've covered it in other videos down below. I would definitely check those out, but I wanted to cover this one again because I'm still seeing questions on it and still getting comments and messages and stuff like that. And it's going to lead into the very next question, which, again, I see this a lot. And it's a good question. It really is. It is basically, I just started playing and I started collecting X, which could be any of the factions. Rebel, Scum, Imperial, Resistance, First Order. And the next question immediately is, what should I buy? Now, I love this question because there are so many different motives to the question. Either that person wants to know what's good so that they can start being competitive. They want to know what out there they should really buy so that they can get caught up to other players so that they don't just get stomped at the tables. Or it could just be they're looking for other people's opinions that might have insight into something that they can't see yet or haven't unlocked as they're playing, because they might just be starting out with a small collection and stuff like that, and they've only seen it from what they're able to buy. They maybe watched a few videos and stuff like that. But I mean, I always answer the same way when I see these questions, and it's basically buy what you know and what you like. So if you, and it could be that they saw, their favorite movies either as a kid or as an adult, whatever, and everyone always has their different opinions. No, it's the 4, 5, and 6 movies. That's the core of all of Star Wars. Start with your Rebel and Imperial, and it's like, yeah, but I watched 1, 2, and 3, so I'm really a Galactic Republic or a Separatist player. And it's like, well, I started watching 7, 8, and 9, so I'm really addicted to First Order and that. And it's like, I just like Scum. Scum's just, they seem like the best because, I like Mandalorian, or I like Boba Fett show, or they might even like understand all of that history, and they just like Scum or they just like one of the factions because they just do. So I always say, buy what you like and know. So for me, what got me into this game was I was playing 40K at the time at a store, the Battle Standard, still open today. It's in Connecticut. I still go there to play X-Wing and other games. And while walking into the store, I just saw X-Wing on one of the shelves, and I saw an A-Wing from the Rebel faction. And I go to the owner, I go, what's this? And he goes, oh, that's X-Wing. It just came out like a year ago. Or no, actually, it would have been 3 years ago. It came out a few years ago, but we just started stocking. I go, I beg your pardon. So my history is I started playing X-Wing versus TIE Fighter on a computer. Yes, I'm that old. And it was a great game. It was 3D. You basically could get into some ships, and you were either could play Rebel or you could play Imperial, depending on which you preferred. You could play both. There's even now to where you can battle each other in space, player versus player. It was the game for me. And the first mission that you do in that game is you hop into an A-Wing, and you're just sent on a recon mission, hence Recon Paint Gaming. And you basically, you're going out to a spot to where a bunch of Imperials are going to be coming in to meet at a wave point. I mean, everything is showing up. You have CR-90s showing up. You have some cargo containers, which is exactly why I printed it out. This was, a cargo shipping ship. It, could jump to light speed. It was heavily shielded and armored and stuff like that. And you're just there to recon the ships and pick up what they're named and what their serial tag is so that you can gather information on it. TIE fighters come out of the ships. An Imperial Star Destroyer shows up, and you're basically in an A-Wing zipping. You have all of your energy in the shields, and I digress. But it was the mission. So when I saw that ship on the shelves, I immediately bought 2 A-Wings because that's what I knew and loved. I bought some X-Wings. I bought the Falcon, and so that's what started me. Just buying what I knew and loved. As I played the game, I found out that A-Wings weren't, they weren't the best ship to take, but it didn't matter to me. I still took them to tournaments. I still did okay. I'd usually go 2-2 or 3-2 with, Tycho and Jake. And then I think I took Tycho, Jake, and a Hawk. That was it. That was first edition back in the day. You could take those and still hurt things. So for players who are looking to get into something, if you want to start out competitively, there's always lists that you could just Google online. There's List Fortress, which is one of the meta building websites. It's just listfortress.com. It stacks all the tournaments that people have done, whether it just be casual stuff like 10 players or main events that are 100 players. and there's tabs up top. There's Meta Wing, and then there's League and stuff like that. And Meta Wing will go through pilots that are the top ranking pilots for their either faction or for the lists. They have ships, which you'd think, oh, pilots and ships. It's like, no, if this ship is top ranking, it could be multiple pilots that are top ranking for that ship chassis. Then there's also upgrades. What upgrades are the top upgrades that you should be taking? And then also list archetypes, which cover basically. So we used to name all the lists. I don't know why we don't do that anymore, but it was so much fun to name lists. But you basically will have people show you what ships that you need to be taking in a squad, and then that's where the upgrades might change as you look at them and see which ones are performing better than others. It gives you how many times the squadron's been taken, how many tournaments it's been to, its average win percentage, and its weighted score. Like right now, the number one is a belly rub starfighter with a fire spray, a hyena class droid bomber, and a rogue class starfighter. So apparently that 4-ship list is doing really well right now. So you can take a look at that, or you can just go with what you love. And the real answer to this question is you're going to have to go out and play other people. And you're going to have to, expand your palette and see what is good, what triggers that you're going to be good with, and also what you're going to be able to afford. Because it's very easy to look at a list and spend $100 and you will have a top performing list, but then you'll realize you're missing certain upgrades. You're going to have to buy another ship or another pack to get that upgrade, and so on and so forth. So it's not as easy as just saying, hey, I bought this faction, just tell me what's good and how to get it. That will happen. People will tell you how to do it, but it might not be in your wheelhouse right now. So you're going to have to basically figure out where to go from there. Plus, you're going to have to learn all the rules and mechanics as well, which isn't always easy to do with a very vast game like this. Because again, the rules is about 50 pages. There's errata, there's extended and standard play, and there's just there's so much richness to this game. It's incredible. So that's what I always start out with when somebody asks, I just started playing, what should I buy? It's buy the ship that you really like to see on the table. So again, for me, it was A-Wings. For my friend, it was the K-Wings. He loved it when those came out. Those are only extended right now, but he absolutely loved K-Wings, especially when he got 4 of them on the table. I have friends that were just like separatists. I love the drones. I love the ships. I love the look. And then once he started getting into it, he realized, yeah, no, I love the dials. The ship flies great. It's got great action economy. It can do all the things, and you can mix and match. And especially when points change, you get really excited because the game does have it to where AMG will change the points as they go, because they either want to shake up the meta, they want to make something better, or they saw a weakness in a ship and then it was being exploited, so you got to change that to bring it back. And there are some things that are going to be too strong, and you have to also pay attention to that, because you don't want to buy something and get invested in something because someone told you that's what you need to buy because it's the top list right now. It eventually might change, and you're going to have to figure out if that's something that you still want to stay invested in, or if now you're going to have to branch out and venture off somewhere else to see if that's the top performing list. And if you didn't take the steps to get there and figure out why it's good, you might not understand how to change it to make it better down the line. And then you're going to have to figure out, oh God, I just spent this money to buy this list, but now it's not as good as it once was. How do I fix it? If you didn't take the steps to figure out why it was good, then you might not know how to fix it, and you're going to have to wait for someone else to tell you how to do that, which might take time, and you'll have to pay attention to the forums and to the list builder and all that stuff like that. So that's why I don't always recommend, just go to List Fortress and pick out the best ships. It's going to be great, because you also might not like how that list flies. You might not like the mechanics or how to set up, or it might be too difficult in certain scenarios, and you're just not going to be able to fit it into how your play style. Because guess what? That happens to the best of the people in this game. They'll start out, they will do all they can to make what they think is the best, and they're like, this isn't my play style. I really don't like, flying fast, dodgy aces. I can't really figure out my maneuvers, and I keep hitting rocks, and for some reason my ace that's like 7 points, he just keeps blowing up, and like, I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. It's only a 3 health ship, and he keeps dying, and I'm losing games. And then finally someone says, if you're really not good at dodging, and you should play something else with some meat on the bone, like the Rebels or Resistance. I mean, it's kind of AC dodgy, but like, they have more health and they have more abilities that keep you alive longer. And then you're gonna move to that faction and see, oh, this is how I really like to play. This is it. I like moving a little bit slower, a little bit different pace of speed. I have more arcs and more firepower, more shields, so when I mess up, I don't die immediately. And you're going to understand, like, the game is different for each faction on what's going to be good and what can survive. So I try not to get hung up on what's good and what's not, because that changes all the time, and you may not enjoy playing what's good, especially in scenario events or in a scenario environment. So, like, I know that was very long-winded, but like, that's the best answer I can give for a new player trying to figure out what they like, is buy what you know and like, and then learn the game and expand there, because this is not a game to where you're going to buy 1 or 2 ships, or I'm going to say 4 or 5 ships, and like, you're good. This game has like 100 ships in it. There's 7 different factions. There's hundreds of pilots that you can take, and each one of them works separately and differently, and every ship moves differently and has different action economies and stuff like that. So you're going to end up expanding, even if you just stick with one faction, because I know players that are like that. They will buy only Rebel, or they'll buy only First Order, because they're diehard fans of that faction, and they're going to stick with that. And there's enough in there to keep, them happy. And especially since more ships keep coming out, and when you do need cards and stuff like that aren't in the packs that you buy, there are definitely other ways to get it. The last thing I will say is the best thing that you can buy are usually the packs that come with multiple ships. So there's like Phoenix Cell. Every time somebody says, I just got into Rebels, what should I buy? Everyone always recommends the Phoenix Squadron pack. There's the Scum triple ship pack. That's a good one to get it, or to buy. And Imperials, each faction has their own, especially the Resistance, to where you can buy a T-70 and 2 A-Wings. So like, there's Servants of Strife there. Like, I could list them all, but you could easily find them online. And it's basically just a squadron pack. It comes with a lot of upgrades that you normally don't get, and some that you normally do, but you need multiples of. And that's my best recommendation to anyone getting back into the game and starting again. And I have nothing more to say on that, because I've been talking for too long as it is. So this has been our first mailbag. I could easily do more, because we get questions all the time, especially with how certain combinations work, certain triggers and stuff like that, and timing windows. I could just pick out like 5 comments that were on the X-Wing Rules Facebook page alone, and go over how you can figure out timings a little bit better, because there are words like while you execute a maneuver, during executing maneuver, after you execute a maneuver, before you execute a maneuver. All these are words that kind of give you the timing window of how things work, and you need to understand they are put that way because either they don't want to cause issues with other mechanics, or they're doing it on purpose to make sure that it works with certain mechanics. So there are certain things, and I even get things wrong all the time, because there's a TIE fighter that can, perform maneuvers even with 2 stress tokens, or after you receive a stress, you can perform 1 action, and if it overlaps a debris cloud, does it still get to perform an action? The answer was yes. I said no, because it skips its perform action step, but its ability on that ship allows you to receive a stress token, then perform an action. So it's outside the window of overlapping the debris cloud, which happens during the perform action step, so it triggers before. Same thing with Pattern Analyzer. That card, that card is perfectly worded, but so confusing with certain triggers because it's while you're executing maneuver, not after, and it's fully executing maneuver. So basically, it's trying to tell you to check your maneuver that you're fully executing while you're doing it. So you can't know if you're fully executing a maneuver unless you've fully executed it or after you've executed it, but it states while in the beginning of it. So while happens before, after fully executing a maneuver. So there are certain triggers and abilities that it's going to let you do that you normally can't, especially with a certain T70 LO ASTI that lets you, and I just want to pull this up real quick because I don't want to get it wrong. LO ASTI basically lets you do 2 actions a turn if you do his ability right, and execute a maneuver while there's a enemy ship at range 0 to 1 of your arc. Oh no, is it LO? No, I'm sorry, it's not LO. It's Neon Num. Yeah, after you gain a stress token, if there's an enemy ship in your front arc at range 0 to 1, you may remove a stress token. So if you put Pattern Analyzer on Neon Num, he can perform a red Talon roll, perform an action because it happens outside of the perform action step with Pattern Analyzer, because while you execute a red maneuver, before the check difficulty, you may perform an action. So he executes his maneuver, performs an action. If he does the Talon roll and there's an enemy ship in his arc at range 0 to 1, he removes the stress, and then you check if you're stressed for your action, you get to perform another action. So you get to perform 2 actions if you do it right. There's even ways to get more actions with him because he is a great I-5 pilot in the T70 for 5 points. And he gets a lot of upgrade points as well. So there's, if you have any questions, definitely you can contact me directly at Patrick through Messenger. You can email us at reconspecialisttv@gmail.com. You can even message me through the group chat for the Recon Paint X-Wing page, which is Recon Paint X-Wing Miniatures. You can even, post questions on Reddit. I'm there a lot. You can ask questions in the X-Wing rules. Not that I'm a part of or an admin of that group, but I'm there a lot looking and reading about rules because I'm always constantly trying to get things right when I play, because I run certain X-Wing groups locally and also online, and for some reason I'm now the rules guru for those groups, even though they help me out as much as I help them out. I don't want to get anything showing I know everything about this game. I get rules wrong all the time because you forget, or you have to read the timing, or there's been an update or an errata change and stuff like that. So yeah, you can contact us through all those means, because I have been messaged directly on Reddit. I've been messaged directly through Facebook, through our Recon Tokens page, through our X-Wing channel, comments on videos and questions there to where I answer, or posts that I've done on Reddit and people ask questions in those comments. So no matter where you are, wherever you post, if you post a question somewhere and I can see it for anything that we do for our online community, I'm going to start collecting those questions, and we're going to start doing some mailbag videos and stuff like that, because I definitely want to give a shout out to the people asking these questions, as well as answer not only to the people directly, but I know there are others that are asking the same questions, and we have a great community that answers them. But it's a good idea to have things in not just one spot, but multiple spots. So that's why I really like Reddit, to where you can ask questions. I like the X-Wing Rules questions page. Go definitely join that if you can, to where you can ask a question, and never be afraid to ask a question. That's another thing that I'm going to say. You can ask as many questions. Everyone always says the same thing. I'm a noob. I'm sorry for asking, but how does this work? And guess what? 7 people will answer your question without hesitation, because they've either been in the same spot or they want to make sure that you get it right. And if somebody gets it wrong, don't worry. We'll dogpile on them, and I've been dogpiled on. It's all in good jest and fun, to where you get something wrong and you learn something new. So I'd never be embarrassed either to either ask a question or learn something that you didn't know before, because I have played games for years to where I get something wrong and I didn't know it. And then finally someone asked the question and I noticed it. I go, oh, that's how that actually works. So I mean, and that's with everything. With Aliens, Another Day in the Marine Corps board game, I've gotten rules wrong in that when we streamed, and people commented on it or commented on it. The what you call it, World of Tanks. We've done videos on that, and you miss triggers. I just missed a trigger last night for my tank, and it got killed because of it. Definitely X-Wing. I've missed a lot of stuff on that in the past when we stream. Usually when I do the videos, I try to make sure everything's right as possible when we're doing videos like this, because I don't want to get anything wrong or confuse anybody. But while you're playing, you're going to get things wrong all the time, and it's okay. It's a part of the game, and the more you practice, the better you're going to get at it. So that's going to do it for this edition of Mailbag. Again, you can email us at reconspecialisttv@gmail.com if you want to get a hold of us for a direct question. We'll answer it, and it can be a part of the mailbag. You can leave a comment anywhere that we post our media. You can message us directly, either through our Discord, through Facebook, Messenger, anyways, that as well. And I'm quite excited to get the mailbag up and running again, because nothing's better than helping build the community and keep it thriving. So good luck to everyone at Las Vegas Open. That's happening. I can't wait to see who's on the tables and what lists people brought. And good luck, have fun, and play casual.